Welcome to the Destination Better Life podcast, where we talk all things Florida living. So in this segment, we're going to talk about our making the move from Pennsylvania to Florida, focusing on our kitchen remodel.
So would you say it was a good idea or not?
Well, the kitchen was probably one of the most rewarding parts of the restoration. We started out with this beautiful kitchen, but it was a 90s kitchen. Double ovens, cooktop. It was nice.
All of that is great,
all
but
that
they
beautiful.
were all bisque colored.
They were bisque appliances.
Which is the equivalent of avocado from the 70s.
And some black appliances, because some broke down. We couldn't get the bisque anymore. So you have that kind of.
We did.
We had this 2-level
We had a
island.
90s island. It was large. In the work area was counter height, but the eating area was bar height.
Yeah.
So that aged. That seemed, as you looked at it, it always looked like it aged not well.
Yeah, but it had a prep sink in it, garbage disposal, and we absolutely loved it. But I think when we were looking to sell it, I kept saying to you, but it's kind of a seller's market, isn't it? There's low inventory. Do we really got to fix the house up? Because, I do a lot of the fixer-upper kind of stuff. And so I was wondering, would it make sense?
Fortunately, you were able to do a lot of work, so that factors in. And so each time that we're working with a seller, we're having that very same conversation. Not every time. Sometimes that's not involved in it. But a lot of times they want to know, what should we do? What work is important? And it all depends on what outcome they're looking for and what the motivation is for moving. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to do anything based on the motivation for selling the house. And I want to preface this with, if anybody tells anybody on the market that in all cases you should always do a kitchen or always do, I say be very cautious of those statements, because this is a very, very individual situation based on what's important to the seller, what the seller has resources to do, timeline, and the outcome that they're looking for.
Right.
So you could over-improve everything to the point where it's not feasible anymore, and it actually hasn't improved your net proceeds.
So what was the strategy we decided on?
So we were in that market where it was still, the sale prices were still climbing, but more slowly at that particular time. So we decided we wanted to be on the higher end of our price point, of what was available for our size house in our area. And we were looking at houses that were built in a similar year to ours, like 98. And we were also looking at what new construction was available right now.
What was our competition?
We knew we'd never comp with the new construction.
No.
Our house was 26 or 27, whatever many years old. So we knew we wouldn't comp with that. But we wanted to be in a very tight window below that as an option. If they weren't looking to jump for new construction, that we would be the next choice. So we looked around our house and said, what would it take for somebody to walk out of a new construction and say, oh, this house is just about the same. It offers all of the same updated features as a new construction.
Yeah, we were competing against them.
I think that's where we were.
And we wanted to get our price at the top of the market. And I know you did a lot of financial crunching of the numbers, and you did a lot of work in the MLS, which is what you really need an agent to do before you would decide on something like this. Would it add value, and would it work? So
at that point, when you decide where you want to be, then you say, okay, how much is it going to cost us to accomplish this effect, this type of quality? And by doing it, will we increase enough to our sales price to overcome the cost of doing it? Because in any case, improving your kitchen is going to increase your sales price, but will it increase it enough to overcome what it costs to do it?
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say in any case, because there are some cases where it wouldn't make an impact, but they're rare, but they do exist. So I say that because every conversation about this is really individual. But in our case, we were very fortunate that you and me, mostly you, but sometimes me a little too, and the kids could all pitch in and do a lot of the work that was being done there. But we did bring a professional in to do a couple of the things. One of them was we decided to not replace cabinets because our cabinets were beautiful. They were just the color of the 90s, and they weren't looking as fresh. So we brought somebody in that did a phenomenal job.
But you did the whole design of the look of the kitchen and the appliances and how it was going to feel and how it was going to look. And it was going to look more like
A new home.
A new home that would be built today. Because Nancy, of course, being a realtor, she's always out in all of those properties all the time. And she would bring me along and say, okay, see this, see this, see this. This is what they're doing now.
My camera roll is filled with great ideas. We never run out of great ideas.
Yeah.
So we were able to bring a professional in only for the painting of those cabinets, a little plumbing. Did we bring in some for electrical in the kitchen? A little electrical.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little electrical. But for the most part, we were able to do a lot of the work ourselves.
We did like a new wall oven unit.
We took a cabinet chunk out above the
We
cooktop
removed a lot of cabinets.
and put a hood in, and that made it feel much more open.
So much nicer.
And then we pulled another cabinet chunk out by the refrigerator and put in chunky wooden.
Which I said would never look good, and they looked awesome.
Thank God, because I had to prove those ones.
Yes, those shelves are really quite amazing.
They were beautiful.
Little coffee station there, absolutely
beautiful. So we created
beautiful.
that area.
And the island, Nancy kept saying, well, the island has to be all one level. And we had this 2-level island, and it's a large island. But we did successfully, rather than replace it, and the cabinets may not match our set, we decided to redesign it and cut it down.
And use all of the original wood.
We used all the original. We cut it down. Absolutely beautiful. We professionally brought in the solid surface countertops and all that. And then painstakingly, we found just the right tile for the backsplash.
After 100,000 hours worth of making that decision.
Right. And it took a lot of time to put that in. Because what I didn't realize at the time is that we had a light tan Formica backsplash. And when they put that on, they glue it with construction adhesive.
Glue like I've never seen in my life.
So in the end, the only way was to physically cut it all out, cut the drywall out down to the studs, re-drywall it, and then come back and put in the tile backsplash. So it became a larger job than we thought, but you be the judge. We have a great video home tour on this. You can see just how amazing that kitchen looked and what that did when the future buyers walked into the house. So
if any of you have ever done a home project, we learned firsthand that there's always surprises, and that backsplash situation was a surprise.
Cost us a week. But it was definitely worth it. I don't know if you remember that one morning before we had gone on the market yet. But I remember sitting in that kitchen, and it was always a gorgeous kitchen. But I said to Nance, I can't believe I'm sitting in this kitchen eating. This is unbelievable.
So then we said the same thing every seller always says, I wish I would have done this 5 years ago.
Yes.
So if you happen to be thinking about moving in 3 to 5 years, let's talk.
We'll
put together a strategy, and maybe you could be one of
the
few people who get to say, I did enjoy it for a few years.
But I think it was the right strategy, and I questioned the strategy a lot, like when the work got hard. I would say, do we really need to fix this, or do we really need to do that? But our strategy was the math made sense, and we wanted to be at the top of the market. And so the answer was yes. Every door was going to be painted. Every trim was going to be done. The walls were going to be perfect. The floors were already absolutely beautiful. We had done them a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so they were all beautiful. Oh, and the roof, 2 or 3 years before we decided to sell, we replaced the entire roof. So I think that's a big factor too, that there was a new roof on the house.
So the math to do it. And then in addition to all those things, within feasible numbers, we did really want to give the next family the most beautiful house. Yeah. Just like we felt so blessed when we got that house as a brand new house way back when our kids, our older two, were just babies. We wanted the next family to have that experience, to have something really beautiful. Certainly not to the demise of our proceeds, but we wanted to, within reason, give them the best possible situation. And I feel like that was really a good thing.
Whoever that family would be. We wanted to be good stewards to, what God had given us, this amazing house that we built 26 years ago and raised our kids. We wanted to be good stewards to it. So we left that house better than when we got it initially.
I believe that's true.
We did. We left it better in almost every detail. The house wasn't worn. It was like new. And it wasn't like that the whole time we were raising our kids and in the house. We weren't one of those families where, oh, I don't know how they do it, but it's always perfect all the time. That wasn't us. But we left it that way. And we felt really good about that.
And I think it's important to note that there's no good house or bad house. Every house is at a different place with its maintenance and its upkeep, but every home, every piece of real estate has great value. There's no one answer for everything. So if you're thinking about doing this, let's talk. Let's break it down. Let's talk about what's important. Let's look at what you've got going on, and we can help you make a plan that maximizes your proceeds and still puts your house at the best possible price point within what works for you. So that's super important.
Yeah, and it's a twofold plan. You know, a lot of times I'll have somebody say, but, you know, I'm going to, if I do sell, I want to sell, but I don't want to give up this interest rate. But on the other hand, interest rates have come down significantly. And so is a small amount on an interest rate stopping you from your goals, stopping you from the lifestyle that you want to live, to the exercise, to the health, to the weather?
You have to decide what you're going to hold your life hostage for.
Yes.
And you may have made this rule in your mind that unless these circumstances exist, and unless the interest rate is X percent, I can't do this. But that's just a rule that you made in your mind. And likely you're going to make other decisions in the course of those years that you probably should have moved on that will cost more than that interest rate. So let's sit down and break that apart too.
Yeah. So there's an awful lot to do in putting together a plan. So let us know your thoughts. Reach out, comment, DM us, or go to destinationbetterlife.com. And we'll look forward to seeing you on our next one.
See you next time.